Jai Bhim everyone, Namo Buddhaya, and happy Dhammachakra Pravartan Din to all of you. I feel honored to present Nandini Deo, who is an associate professor of political science at Lehigh University in Pennsylvania, where she teaches courses on social activism, religion, feminism, politics, and Indian politics. She is the co-author of the book, The Politics of Collective Advocacy in India, with Duncan McDermott, that is focused on the gains of NGOs and advocating transnationally. Her second book, Mobilizing Religion and Gender in India, The Role of Activism, that compares the rise and fall of women's movements and Hindu nationalism. Her research is mainly on the politics, religion, ideology, feminism, and social movements. She is active in the Women and Politics and Religion and Politics, that sections of the American Political Science Association. Currently, she is working with an international team on a project examining faith-based organizations in the development sector and how they adapt to a Hindu nationalist government. She's also writing a book about civil society and corporate partnerships in India. Please welcome, with big round of applause, Nandini Deo.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today. The truth is, Nitinji actually wanted my husband to be here, and he couldn't come, so I was brought in as a substitute. But thank you. It's been really nice spending time with everyone this time and the last time also, where we celebrated Equality Day together, because this is just a really warm and welcoming community. It's so nice to be at an event where I can be there as, my professional self, but also have my children with me and not feel embarrassed that they're making noise or moving around and things. So thank you for creating this space. I spent a lot of time thinking about what I might say, and if I could say something related to my work, and that would be of interest, and I decided that no, there's no need for all of that. What I'd like to do is actually read some of Dr. Ambedkar's words to us. So in 1936, in 1935 is when he first started speaking about the need for conversion, and then in 1936, at the Mahar conference of the Bombay Presidency, he gave a speech in which he really explained the thinking behind why conversion was necessary. And so I'm going to read a little bit from that, and then I'll switch to another essay that he wrote. So this is him speaking about the material or the political need for conversion. Casteism and religious fanaticism, as I see it, has had a very peculiar effect on the minds and morality of the people of this country. In this country, nobody feels pain at poverty and suffering. And if at all anybody is moved, he does not try to eradicate it. People help in poverty, sorrows, and suffering only to those who belong to their caste or religion. Through this sense of morality, though this sense of morality is perverted, it cannot be forgotten that it is prevalent in this country. In the village, the untouchables suffer at the hands of Hindus. It is not that there are no men of other religions and that they do not realize the oppression of untouchables as unjust. Knowing full well that the oppression of the untouchables by the Hindus is most unjustified, they do not rush to the rescue of the untouchables. If you ask them, why do they not help you? They would say, what business do we have to interfere? Have you been the members of our religion? We would have helped you. From this, you will understand one thing, that unless you establish close relations with some other society, unless you join some other religion, you cannot get the strength from outside. It clearly means you must leave your present religion and assimilate yourselves with some other society. Without that, you cannot gain the strength of that society. So long as you do not have strength, you and your future generations will have to lead a life in the same pitiable condition. And he goes on, until now, we have discussed how conversion is necessary for material gains. Now I propose to put forth my thoughts as to how this conversion is equally necessary for spiritual well-being. What is religion? Why is it necessary? Let us first try to understand. Several people have tried to define religion, but amongst all of these definitions, only one is most meaningful and agreeable to all. That which knits the people together is religion. That is the true definition of religion. I accept it. Religion means the rules imposed for the maintenance of society. Mine is also the same concept of religion. Although this definition logically appears to be correct, it does not disclose or clarify the nature of the rules which maintain the society. The question still remains as to what should be the nature of the rules which govern society. This question is more important than that of definition, because the question of which religion is necessary for a man does not depend on its definition, but on the motive and nature of the rules that bind and govern the society. What should be the real nature of religion? While deciding this question, another question follows. What should be the relation between a man and the society? The modern social philosophers have proposed three answers to this question. Some have proposed that the ultimate goal of the society is to achieve happiness for the individual. Some say the society exists for the development of man's inherent qualities and energies and to help him develop his self. However, some put up that the chief object of the social organization is not the development or happiness of the individual, but to create an ideal society. The concept of the Hindu religion is, however, much different from all these concepts. There is no place for an individual in Hindu society. The Hindu religion is constituted on the class concept. The Hindu religion does not teach us as to how an individual should behave with another individual. A religion which does not recognize the individual is not acceptable to me personally. Although society is necessary for the individual, social welfare cannot be the ultimate goal of religion. To me, individual welfare and progress is the real aim of religion. Although the individual is a part of the society, his relation with the society is not like that of the body and its organs, or that of the cart and its wheels. Unlike a drop of water which submerges its existence with the ocean in which it is dropped, man does not lose his identity in the society in which he lives. The man's life is independent. He is born not for the service of the society, but for the development of his self. For this reason alone, one man cannot make another a slave. A religion in which the individual has no importance is not acceptable to me. So that was his thinking very early on, 20 years before the conversion actually happened. More recently, after that, in 1950, he wrote an essay which was published in the Mahabodhi journal, which was called Buddha and the Future of His Religion. And I'm also going to read a little bit from that, because in this he really explains why he thinks Buddhism is the best religion and why it's superior to others. Buddha never arrogated to himself any such status as God or the Son of God. He was born as a son of man and was content to remain a common man and preached his gospel as a common man. He never claimed any supernatural origin or supernatural powers, nor did he perform miracles to prove his supernatural powers. The Buddha made a clear distinction between a Margdata and a Mokshadata. Jesus, Muhammad, and Krishna claimed for themselves the Mokshadata. The Buddha was satisfied with playing the role of a Margdata. In the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, he told Ananda that his religion was based on reason and experience, and that his followers should not accept his teaching as correct and binding merely because they emanated from him. Being based on reason and experience, they were free to modify or even to abandon any of his teachings if it was found that at a given time and in a given circumstances they do not apply. He wished his religion not to be encumbered with the dead wood of the past. He wanted that it should remain evergreen and serviceable at all times. That is why he gave liberty to his followers to chip and chop as the necessities of the case required. No other religious teacher has shown such courage. They were afraid of permitting repair. As the liberty to repair may be used to demolish the structure they had reared, Buddha had no such fear. He was sure of his foundation. He knew that even the most violent iconoclast will not be able to destroy the core of his religion. So both the common humanity of the Buddha and his teaching that we are free to take from his teachings what we can use and remake things and revise things as we need are two of the distinguishing characteristics of Buddhism, and made it so appealing to Dr. Ambedkar, who was able to see that acceptance of anything blindly is a problem, and that we should always be using our reason and we should always be using our minds to think about how we are and where we are. It's very hard to choose passages from his work because all of it is so good. He's often really funny and insightful, and so there's a couple of things here, but I will skip this section just in the interest of time and go to a little bit over here. So this is where he's talking about some of the core teachings of Buddhism. Most of those who have written about Buddha have propagated the idea that the only thing Buddha taught was ahimsa. This is a great mistake. It is true Buddha taught ahimsa. I don't want to minimize its importance, for it is a great doctrine. The world cannot be saved unless it follows it. What I wish to emphasize is that Buddha taught many other things besides ahimsa. He taught, as part of his religion, social freedom, intellectual freedom, economic freedom, and political freedom. He taught equality, equality not between man and man only, but between man and woman. It would be difficult to find a religious teacher to compare with Buddha, whose teachings embrace so many aspects of the social life of people, whose doctrines are so modern and with main concern to give salvation to man in his life on earth, and not to promise it in heaven after he is dead. He then goes on to talk about how there are three things that are needed to spread Buddhism. One is to produce a Buddhist Bible, and his book, Buddha and his Dhamma, is the book that he wrote to serve as a kind of Bible, to make changes in the organization, aims, and objects of the Bhikkhu Sangha, and to set up a world Buddhist mission. He concludes his essay with, in some ways, the time seems quite propitious for the spread of Buddhism. There was a time when the religion was part of one's own inheritance. At one time, a boy or a girl inherited the religion of his or her parent along with the property of the parent. There was no question of examining the merit and virtues of religion. Sometimes the heir did question whether the property left by the parents was worth taking, but no heir was there to question whether the religion of his or her parents was worth taking. Time seems to have changed. Many persons throughout the world have exhibited an unprecedented piece of courage with regard to inheritance of their religion. Many have, as a result of the influence of scientific inquiry, come to the conclusion that religion is an error which ought to be given up. There are others who, as a result of the Marxian teaching, have come to the conclusion that religion is opium, which induces the poor people to submit to the domination of the rich and should be discarded. Whatever be the causes, the fact remains that people have developed an inquiring mind in respect of religion. And the question whether religion is at all worth having, and if so, which religion is worth having, are questions which are uppermost in the minds of those who dare to think about this subject. Time has come. What is wanted is will. If the countries which are Buddhist can develop the will to spread Buddhism, the task of spreading Buddhism will not be difficult. They must realize that the duty of a Buddhist is not merely to be a good Buddhist. His duty is to spread Buddhism. They must believe that to spread Buddhism is to serve mankind. And I think this is where the essay concludes, and I think what's really valuable and important about this particular essay is that he talks about the ways in which Buddhism allows not one community but the whole world to be able to practice a religion that is based on reason, that doesn't deny the individual, that places the individual within the context of society, and that places equality and justice today at the heart of what it is to be a good follower of the tradition and of Dr. Ambedkar's teachings as well. So thank you for letting me share some of these words, and it's always really such a pleasure to read any of his work and so enlightening. So I encourage everyone to buy some of those books that are in the hallway and keep reading. Thank you.
Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya. Thank you, Professor Deo, for such an enlightening speech today. You talk about many topics. The one particular topic actually that I noted was Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's speech in Mahar Conference of 1935. The topic was need for conversion. And we all are aware about the recent event, when the AAP MLA Rajendra Pal Yadav attended, the Buddhist conversion ceremony in India, and the uproar is caused within the Indian society. The singular event actually tells us such a huge diaspora of Indian society is not aware why exactly Babasaheb Ambedkar accepted Buddhism. So thank you again for choosing such an apt topic for today's event. I would like to call upon on the stage Dipti Thul. Professor Deo, please accept the small token of appreciation from Ambedkar International Mission.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you again.